Hello, my name is Sandro Ramos, and today I will be giving my informative speech on influenza, also known as the flu. For the past century, people have experienced the severe symptoms of the flu compared to a strong fever or an illness that could possibly lead to death. The flu was taken under investigation and recognition as a contagious respiratory illness that is caused when the virus infects the respiratory system in the human body. The flu has been recorded throughout many British researchers such as Wilson Smith, C.H. Andrews, and P.P. Laidlaw, who made a breakthrough isolation and identifying the influenza virus back in 1933. It's important that we know this to understand the virus, yet the question in everyone's mind still stands as, how is it that we know the flu now? Where did this all begin? In the early 20th century, specifically 1918, when the influenza pandemic first occurred soon after the end of the First World War, it was first recognized as the cause of a bacterial infection where it was a new H1N1 flu strand with genes of avian origin which rapidly spread. Major U.S. states like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and Minnesota began to recognize the dangers of the virus when soon enough, throughout its spread worldwide, began closing of schools, stores, churches, public transportation, etc., as well as began the demand in the use of masks and other protection from any contact or sociality at all. The pandemic had lasted at around 2 years, specifically 1918 to 20. The results, as recorded, were a large sum of around 20 million deaths worldwide, and 550,000 of those were solely in the United States. Throughout the same year of 1918, isolation hospitals beds were filling up with people who carried the contagious illness, kept away from any standards to keep clean from any other spread. This time is important to know as it began the clinics. Dr. Edward C. Rosenau, who created a flu serum, which was a vaccine mix which included bacteria that caused pneumonia. After a few requested uses, it didn't serve any protection as a vaccine against the flu. Yet, this was evidence of a true test. In 1933, research done by British researchers discovered there wasn't any present bacteria, rather it was merely a disease caused by the virus. The first inactivated flu vaccine was developed by Thomas Francis and John Salk, and with the help of U.S. military for efficacy test, it was soon licensed for the public to use in 1945. And now entering the 21st century, already in the 2000s, major events took place regarding the influenza virus. Another H1N1 pandemic began in 2009, formerly known as the swine flu, which spread worldwide throughout airline traveling. And throughout early years, there was a continuation of researchers who constantly tried to find a new development in the vaccine. Earlier in 2003, there was a licensed vaccine delivered in the form of a nasal spray, and a vaccine with a recombination of DNA technology approved in 2013. And from then, additional influenza vaccines based on the developed technologies that were being tested. Ever since its creation, people have had access to the flu vaccine at every second half of a year, during what is known as the flu season during fall and winter. Yet, despite all the efforts, there is still a recording of around 650,000 deaths per year, all due to the influenza disease. The influenza strains have been proven to develop over a period to a point where any vaccinations could protect against it. Now we have explored further into the understanding of the influenza vaccine, including the world's first encounter with the flu, the development of the vaccine, and the settlement or adaptation of the flu. Although the world has encountered many viruses from time to time, and a good example of that is present time today with the indulgence of the coronavirus, it is still important to recognize the influenza virus with its roaming present worldwide state. There should now be an understanding from people when preventing any contagion of any kind, of any sickness, whether that is a virus or any other fever, by always keeping clean to provide safety for the society and the further history involved. Thank you very much for your time.